Hey there, Real Estate Junkies. Before we dive into today's episode, we've got some game changing resources to help you start buying and selling real estate on terms, the smart, creative way. Want to learn how to invest with little or no money down? Grab your free ebook, The 4 Game Plans, and discover the exact strategies we use every day. Get it now. The link is in the show notes. Looking for a complete step-by-step system to start making 3 paydays per deal? Check out the Quantum Leap System, our home study course packed with everything you need to close your first terms deal. Need a personalized strategy? Book a free one-on-one strategy session with one of our coaches. Just use coupon FREE3 at checkout. Ready to take action? Join the 3 Payday Apprentice Program and start working toward real estate success with direct mentorship. Want hands-on training with us? Spend 3 days at our In the Trenches Bootcamp, where we'll work side by side to lock in deals. And don't miss our biggest event of the year, QOS Live 2025. Connect with top investors, sharpen your skills, and take your business to the next level. Secure your spot today. All links are right below in the show notes. Click now and start building your real estate empire. Now, let's get into today's episode. Money is a byproduct of what we're trying to do with the seller, right? Again, like you said, we are trying to. They can't sell their home for whatever reason. There's multiple reasons why they can't sell their home, whether it's rural and they're in the mountains, whatever reason it is, they just couldn't sell their home for the price that they wanted. Maybe the realtor sucked and they just don't want to deal with realtors anymore, or whatever. So we're going to pay them what they think it's worth. Obviously, we're going to do our due diligence, which is step 5 in the 7 steps to take. And we're going to do our due diligence. We're going to get comps and stuff, but we're paying them roughly what they want. Oh, welcome back to Real Estate Junkies, Coast to Coast. I am your co-host, Rusty Ham, on the West Coast. I almost said East Coast. West Coast.
And I'm Rick Abbiati from the East Coast, New Hampshire.
New Hampshire. Rick, it's been a few weeks here. I guess we should just announce it in front of everybody on this. We're going to go every other week now. Rick and I our schedules are starting to increase with associates, our own business. And this has been taking some time away from that. So we're going to devote more time on our business and the coaching. We will still be coming to you every other week. Hopefully every other is Thursday. So stay tuned for our new schedule. Don't leave us. As we still have some really good things to talk about. We just need to focus on other areas of our professional life. So we talk about the 3 pillars in our warm-up, right, Rick? Mindset, skill set, and systems. We are going to focus on the skill set, specifically getting sellers to accept our offers. We've been finding. Now we had a great trimester 2, so don't get us wrong. We had a lot of people get houses under contract, so it's not like boo hoo hoo. Feel sorry for us because we're not getting any deals. We're getting deals, trust me. But we do still have a few associates that their mindset's not there, maybe because they're not getting enough offers accepted.
Yeah, it's those that haven't had a lot of deals, or they're maybe not so new, but they're just struggling to get that deal over the edge and get that under contract.
Right. So you guys, so we have different associate levels. We've never really talked about it, have we? You could come in, kick the tires around a little bit, for a very, very, very minimal amount of money, become an apprentice, right? And that's very limited coaching. You get 4 group calls, and it's limited coaching, right? Or you can become an associate at the starter level. Then there's an immersion level, and then the high 6th. We also have a presence club, but that's a very
Invite only.
Yeah, it's invite only. So we have those 3-level starter immersion and high six. Immersion and high six. High six, we have a mastermind once a month, right?
Same
Immersion, it's the same with immersion. So immersion, we have a mastermind where you get all the immersion in one room, meaning one Zoom room, and we go over deals, we go over mindset stuff, deal structure, roadblocks that someone might be having. We have hot seats, right? Those are very powerful, having a hot seat where someone says, "Hey, I'm struggling in this area," and then we all collectively help that person out, try to navigate through that. So what we're finding in your immersion, you found associates not getting offers accepted. So talk a little bit about that and how Zach helped you overcome that, or not you, but how he's trying to help the immersion group overcome that.
Yeah, I mean, basically, all of us as coaches are always continually talking to each other and looking for trends in any way we can improve and help people out and try to get it better for everybody, a better experience. So one of the things that Zach had asked me, what is the immersion group? Basically, what are the few things they're really struggling with? And I said, one, getting offers accepted and getting properties sold. So we really hit on getting offers accepted.
Okay. So what strategies was he talking about?
So basically, we have our 7 steps to a taken. And much like we use our KPIs, our metrics, how many dials and how many live and how many leads we get out of the live, we have that nailed down. So we know what those ratios are, and we can predict how things will work for you, and when you'll be able to get properties under contract. And that goes to our 7 steps to a taken. It's very predictable. If there's a roadblock in one of those 7 steps, it's generally something leading up to it. It's one of the earlier steps where the problem is. And in this particular case, putting out an offer is step 6 of the 7 steps to a taken. And it's what we're in a business of meeting sellers' needs and buyers too, and helping buyers. But on the seller side, really the biggest priority is meeting their needs. It's not getting X amount in a deal and making the money. It's before you can even do that, you've got to meet the seller's needs. And that's obviously one of the biggest hurdles, is getting to the meat of the bone of what the seller needs. So when you're talking to a seller, you want to be right up front and let them know this is a collaboration. It's not a negotiation. We're going to get you the best deal we can get you. And what would it take to make you want to go this route? What would make this work for you? And, find out what they can be flexible on and what their needs really are, because you want to make it a win-win solution or win-win transaction, or make it a solid transaction. And you just let the seller know we can do this a bunch of different ways. And so what you want to do is find out what's most important to them. And that way you can structure it as a win-win transaction. Once you do that, you just say, once we do this, are you ready to move forward? And kind of really to get to the meat of what their needs are again. So when step 6, you're setting out an offer, but before you even do that, you want to know what their needs are. So that is at your appointment, especially during the appointment. You get the motivation up front, but you may not get to their real needs until either follow-up call, which is step 3, or the appointment, which is really, I went on an appointment today and I dug into the seller's needs and just nailed it with him. He was very upfront, told me what he needed. We can meet his needs. So the offer is really just a formality once I meet those needs.
Yeah, great point. I think you alluded to it that the offer is a formality. It's just, hey, here are the numbers that we agreed on at the appointment. You know, are you good to go? And it's either yes or no. Um, and you made a good point where I wrote it down as you were talking that the money that we make, again, we make our money on the buyer side, not necessarily on the seller side, because again, we're not investors that are coming in trying to get pennies on the dollar, right? We're not trying to get instant equity so that, we can fix and flip it and sell it right away for a profit, thinking money only, right? The
Mhm.
money is a byproduct of what we're trying to do with the seller, right? Again, like you said, we are trying to, they can't sell their home for whatever reason. There's multiple reasons why they can't sell their home, whether it's rural and they're in the mountains, um, whatever reason it is, they just couldn't sell their home for the price that they wanted. Maybe the realtor sucked and they just don't want to deal with realtors anymore, whatever. So we're going to pay them what they think it's worth. Obviously, we're going to do our due diligence, which is step 5 and there's 7 steps to take, and we're gonna do our due diligence. We're gonna get comps and stuff, but we're paying them roughly what they want, right? So again, to kind of piggyback on what you're saying is we're trying to search what their needs are and what's going to win, what's we're going to create a win-win, and that win-win is they get what they want. Again, they don't need their money right away, but they're gonna get cashed out at a certain time, and then the win for us is we get to sell it on the back end, and then that's where we make our money. So the money is a byproduct of what we're ultimately what we're trying to do with the seller, correct?
Correct. And the other thing is when you send the offer out, if they're having second thoughts or whatever, and they kind of push back a little bit, is be very open with them and say, what is it about what I sent you that doesn't work for you?
Right.
Perhaps I can go back to my partners and we can see if we can structure something to make it more of a win for you. And if that doesn't work, then that's okay too.
Yeah, and you've had this many times. We've had associates reach out and say, "Hey, I just talked to a seller. It's a hot lead. I want to talk to you about putting something together to send them." And they haven't gotten seen the home yet. They haven't had a follow-up call yet. They
Yep.
want to throw out these numbers, and it's like, no, time out. Again, we have 7 steps to take, and if you don't know what those 7 steps are, we can quickly describe them to you. It's number 1 is the initial call. Number 2, after the initial call, you're going to get an email, right? You're not going to ask them. You're going to tell them, okay, hey, here's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to send you some information. What is your email address? So you get an email, you send them an email where you have a sell doc, explains how we buy. So that's step 2, sending an email. Step 3 is you're going to follow up with them, see if they have any questions based on what the conversation was or the email you sent. On that step 3 is you want to set up a appointment. Appointment is number 4. After the appointment, you're going to come home, talk to your coach, do some comps, do some research. That's step 5. Once you do your research, you're going to send out the offer. And again, that offer is based on what you talked to, with the seller at the appointment, right? Just like you said, you sat down with them, you found out what their dreams are, their needs, whatever you want to call it. After the
Mhm.
offer, then they're gonna say yes, and then you send out the contract for a taken. Step 7. Right?
Yeah. I think what's key in that, Russ, is always set the expectation with the seller. So you want to let them know what the next step is going to be or the next steps. You know, um, on your initial call, it's what I'm going to do is I'm going to send you an email, explain how we purchase our properties, give you a little more background on us, and then I'll give you a call in a couple days. Does Thursday work for you? And what time? Like late afternoon, 5 o'clock. And I'm just going to call in just 5 or 10 minutes just to answer any questions you may have. And then at that point, when you do the follow up, you're going to say, well, what I'm going to need to do is see the property. I'm going to come visit so I can see, property. And then What I'm going to do is I'm going to need a copy of your mortgage statement if there's a mortgage, and so we can come up with accurate numbers. And
Okay.
then once I see the property, then I'll bring everything back and we'll put together some numbers for you, give you some options. So you're walking them through the 7 steps.
Yep. Yeah. Perfect. Thank you. Awesome. Let's pivot to speaking of trying to find out a win-win for the seller. You said you went on an appointment today. Is this the one you're
No,
talking about?
this,
This is a different one.
this
Oh, this
one,
is, yeah, this is an old one that's coming
yeah,
back.
yeah. It's,
Okay.
and I did why I did the same thing on an appointment I went on this morning. And that's when I really dug into the seller's needs, and the offer is just going to be a formality because he already is good to go with it. So, it's a shorter term. It's 1.69 million and it's on a river. Really nice property, 1.069 million. He doesn't want a long term, but he's good with us not being in the middle. So it's going to be an AO. So,
Oh, okay.
but the one that you were talking of, I went on the appointment about a month and a half ago. It's very rural. It's a property. They owned a paving company. So as a result, it was a single family home on the land and a 40 by 40 commercial garage that you could almost fit a tractor trailer inside of. It's
Oh, wow.
two floors, very high, big wide doors,
Right.
and a lot of paving equipment, trucks, tractors, rollers, and they are in the mid 70s, so they're retiring from that. They want to travel. So I put together an option for them. In fact, she was very sharp. She pretty much drew out the numbers, the hypothetical numbers. So they were very much on board with it. And when I walked through, I had to climb around boxes, and it was funny on the door. Her husband had a sign on the door, on the bedroom door, that said, "This room will be clean when I see some green."
So was it like a hoarder's house? Or
Not quite, but not too far from it.
right. Okay.
And I mean, they just had a lot of stuff, boxes of paperwork and all that kind of stuff. So, um, but anyway, I came back and followed up. Yep. And I sent them the offer, and she got back to me and she said, "Yep, the numbers look good, but I'm not sure if it's really going to be what my husband and I want to do." So I tried to follow
This is a
up.
month ago, right?
It was about a month ago, month and a
Okay.
half ago.
Right.
So I tried following up, couldn't reach her. I know she was away in Canada for a week or two. So, but I left messages. She didn't call me back. So I called her a couple of days ago. She got back to me and she said, "Well, we've been really cleaning up. We've been taking truckloads of boxes and everything out and getting rid of stuff. And it'll probably take us a couple months." And I said, "Well, I'm concerned because winter's coming. So we want to get it on the market as soon as possible." So, and oh, by the way, I know you mentioned you seem to have a little hesitation on the amount of time, the term. And I said, we can adjust that. And you also are looking to net a little bit more. So we could do something there too. So I'm addressing their needs. And she said, give me a call back as often as you want, just to check on how we're making out with cleaning the property out. And then we'll be ready to go forward.
They don't want to make a decision after until it's clean.
Yeah, yeah. Well, they didn't want to sit down and go over numbers and everything again
Okay.
until they get closer to getting ready to
Got
sell
it.
it.
Okay.
But she
Yeah.
knows that we're flexible in meeting her terms.
So I don't know if you guys heard that, but we don't normally do this, but we're trying to satisfy their needs. So if the numbers work for you, Rick, it sounds like you're open to paying a higher price for a shorter term, which we normally do. Normally, if we're going to pay somebody a higher price, we want a longer term. But in this case, I'm sure you looked at all 3 paydays, and it's still, you know, because what we do is we look at these deals holistically, right? Because some people get stuck on like payday 2. Oh my God, I did rent comps and the rent comps don't support their mortgage, and they freak out, right? They're totally focused, right? They don't look at holistically, right? Because remember, we get paid 3 different ways. We get paid payday 1, which is a non-refundable down payment from the tenant buyer. Payday 2, which is the cash flow, what we charge the tenant buyer and what we pay the seller. And then payday 3 is what is a combination of principal pay down and the markup, right? So we look at that and we look at all 3 and say, okay, is it worth it for me to jump into this? If one of those things don't work out, right? So hypothetically, sometimes if payday 2 doesn't work out, which we're running into a lot, right? Because of interest rates. And I warn people that we're going to start talking to people that have really high interest rates, and our payday 2 is probably not going to be there. So our payday 1 and payday 3, if it's attractive enough, then we're going to get into it, even though we might be negative in payday 2. Your situation is you might make less on the payday 3, right?
Right. Yeah. Most of them.
Holistically, it's still a good deal, right?
Right. I mean, it was a very, very profitable deal. It was principal only. It was a sub-to owner finance, but I think it was over $1,000 principal payment between the principal only payment to the seller and the mortgage. And there was plenty enough spread. So I thought, well, I could drop it down instead of 5 years, I can do 4 years or 3 years and 2 6-month extensions. And possibly offer them interest. But better than paying them interest, I could give them a higher price for their property, and then they're not paying taxes on the interest.
Right.
So in the end, they're getting more and a shorter term.
Okay, so their PITI was low enough for you to give them an additional $1,000 a month?
Additional 800.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. My first deal, 10-year deal, was it was a super low payment. We gave them like an additional $2,000 on top of that. I had to give the house back, but it was going to be a great deal. It was a 10-year deal. This is like my first deal. I was like, woo, this is so easy. And then I had to give the house back. But yeah, so if the payment's low enough, you can do that. You can offer them some sort of cash flow that goes towards the principal. They don't need to wait for all of their equity, right? They can get some of their equity over time, which is kind of cool.
Yep.
So yeah, that's kind of cool. Just kind of keep pressing their buttons, man. See if they're, they now what's cool is that because you've kept in touch with them and you had that relationship with them, they're going to call you, right? How many investors spend that much time? I'm saying. How many investors out there spend that much time that you spent with them? Not many, right?
Yep. In fact, when she called me back, the first time she called me, it was on my way to the appointment, and it came up, the caller ID said Quebec. I said, I don't know anybody from Quebec, so I didn't answer it. Well, it turned out to be her.
Right.
Because that's where her cell phone was from. But so when she called yesterday, I answered it. I just took the call because I knew it was her. I said, hi, Ruth. And she said, oh, yeah, this is Ruth. And I said, yeah, I knew that. Who else calls me from Quebec?
There you go. So you developed that relationship.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So, and it's still a 6-figure deal, even making it sweeter for them. So, and in the end, it's meeting their needs and helping them do what they want to do. And
yeah,
it still works out.
Very cool. I hope that works out for you. Awesome stuff. All right, now let's do our cool down, which we normally do. We talk about the In the Trenches Bootcamp and QS Live. QS Live's coming up soon, which I think is in a month, October 6th and 7th in Boston. So we're going to have some fun out there, Rick. Going to have some cameras with you.
Yep. You got to get there early enough Sunday so we can go out to dinner.
We are, because my wife and I are going. Actually, we're going to be flying out there uh, Thursday night. We're going to spend all day Friday and all day Saturday
Oh,
in an Airbnb. So we're going to have some husband and wife time Friday and Saturday. Sunday, she flies back, and then that's when I'm going to hook up with you guys for QOS. So, yeah,
yep. And I've got Megan coming too.
very cool. Yeah, so QOS live again. There's a link in the show notes if you want to attend. It's super cheap. You just got to find a way to get there. But the importance of QOS live is the camaraderie that you're hanging around. Like-minded people. There's speakers that are going to be there that are going to help you build your business, and just the side talk, right? Just talking to other people that you haven't. You see them on the Zoom call all the time, but then you meet them in person. You know, they're physically right there in front of you, so you're having a conversation. You get to know them, right? What else?
And just since you said you're bringing your wife, and I said Megan's coming too. Megan is not my wife. I'm like, oh, she's my executive assistant. She's flying from California. So
We had. I can see your face. You're like, I need to clarify that.
yeah,
Megan is. So I think it was after your fourth deal, you got an executive assistant that
yeah,
does all your emails. Also does the buyer side, right? Too. Doesn't she help you on the
yep,
buyer side? Yeah. So
yep.
she's gonna come out, hang out. I'm gonna pick her brain and see if she can be my.
Yeah.
I won't steal it from her. Just a couple hours a day. And then in November, Chris and the team got a bigger room.
Yep.
Right? Is it in the same building?
Yep, it is. They're just taking out a wall and expanding to another part of the building.
Okay.
Next door. It's a much bigger conference training room. Holds about 30 people.
Okay, yeah, because the one he has now, super small, probably fits comfortably.
It's comfortable, all right.
10 to 12 maybe.
Yeah, I think we've had 15 in there.
Yeah,
It's pretty cozy.
yeah, it's pretty cozy. And then we would have some people on the Zoom. Now it was invite only, right? That we don't want a bunch of people on Zoom, but there's probably about 3 or 4 people on Zoom as well.
Yep.
The configuration wasn't right. I know you went in there and changed it around, but now that they rented out this bigger space, now it's you can pull 30 people, which is kind of cool. Zoom is going to be a lot better, so we can have probably some more people on Zoom as well. So this is growing. In the Trenches Bootcamp is growing, meaning you need to get there. So if you're listening to this and you haven't gone, you gotta go. You gotta get to the In the Trenches Bootcamp, because again, it's what it says. We're in the trenches. We're making phone calls for your sellers that you've been talking to, trying to get you on an appointment, trying to walk your sellers through the 7-step to a taken so that you guys can get a deal. And we've had multiple deals come out of these Into the Trenches Bootcamp, right?
Yep. And, the associates that attend the ITTB, the In the Trenches Bootcamp, almost always walk away with some, if not all of them, walk away with appointments.
And we're starting to have people that want to go multiple times, right? Because sometimes people, when they initially go and they're brand new to maybe real estate, it's like drinking from a water hose, right? It's just so much information that's being thrown at them, and they're writing their notes frantically, and it's just probably not registering at that time. And then maybe a month or so later, after they've been in the community, they're like, okay, I sort of understand now what's going on. I'm going to go again so I can get another nugget or two, right? That's going to propel my business. Does that sound accurate?
Yep, definitely. I've had a lot of people say, I wish I had gone later because, I was brand new. I wasn't even calling leads. So I didn't have leads for you to call.
Yeah, but that's backwards thinking. You need to go just so you can see us in action and see that it's legit. Because there's a lot of people that don't think that what we do is legit. So it is definitely legitimate. But it's good for them to see us in action, and to show them that we truly back up what we say, that that we're going to, if you bring us a lead, we're going to walk you through and hold your hand through the whole process. And not only on the seller side, but also on the buyer side, right? So if you get a house under contract, we're not going to say, okay, see you later. We're not going to do that. We're going to walk you through the buyer side. We're going to be there step by step.
Yep. We walk you through from start to finish.
Yep. All right, everybody. Again, In the Trenches Bootcamp and QoS is in the show notes. So make sure you guys are visiting that. Click that. Join. Come see us in Boston. Or I don't know what your favorite drink is, but I typically have a Guinness when I'm out in the Northeast.
Sam Adams.
Sam Adams. Oh. Yeah, very cool. All right, everybody.
And Mike's Pastries on the North End. And if you and your wife haven't been into Mike's Pastries, you need to do that on the North End.
Mike's Pastries, I believe we were there one time and we did walk up and down the Little Italy. They're in the Little Italy.
Yep. Yeah. Yep. Look, you'll know it because there's a line down the street.
Yeah, I think we may have done that one, or the one that was competitive, which is.
Yep, down the street from that.
Yep. All right. All right, everybody. We'll see you later. We'll see you in a couple weeks.
Sounds great. See you, everyone. Bye.